Thank you for the introduction, Yuhei. As said, this is my presentation on climate change and storms. Tropical storms are fueled by warm water and have extremely impactful effects on things like coastal cities, our economy, and our crop growth. Tropical storms can be detrimental to all of these things. Tropical storms can cause severe rainfall and damage. These are costs which come right out of our government's pocket. Rainfall which comes from tropical storms can flood crops, prohibiting their growth. Crop growth is a direct part in our economy. The rainfall is the least of the worries when it comes to tropical storms. The damage it causes at coastal cities and habitats of animals is even more severe, and this is only for the current day. As said previously, warm water increases these tropical storms. In the North Atlantic and East Pacific Oceans currently, we have had more intense hurricanes as well as a larger quantity, costing millions of dollars in damage fees and a record amount of rainfall and flooding. What might be the cause? A rise in sea levels as well as more warm water would cause these more intense storms. Storms will only get stronger, causing more and more damage, which will cost more and more money to be spent for repairs. Coastal cities will be more heavily impacted, and rainfall and flooding will only increase. At this point, you may be thinking, why is there a rise in sea levels, and why is the water becoming more warm? That is because of climate change, the melting of our very own polar ice caps, ultimately causing these more intense storms, specifically hurricanes. And it's our fault. Melting of polar ice caps is destroying habitats for animals, but what isn't so obvious is that as a result of climate change enhancing storms, even more habitats are at risk. Flooding and high-speed winds are making certain areas uninhabitable for not only animals, but perhaps us too. In July, there were 13 hurricanes in the North Atlantic and East Pacific. This number is greater than average. While it may not be record-breaking, it is still very concerning because these hurricanes were stronger than average, which is something to worry about. Charts shown on the average temperature of rain in oceans show that it has been increasing. With tropical storms gaining their energy from warm water, this explains why the storms have been getting stronger. It also supports that climate change is in fact happening and is ultimately the cause of more intense tropical storms. Climate change is clearly an issue. As also stated by Leonardo DiCaprio in his short speech at the opening of Climate Change Summit in 2014, his opinion also being that climate change is in fact an issue and that we must take action against it. While he does not talk about storms, he does talk about habitat destruction and global warming. Over 50 million people live on/near US coasts. With more powerful storms, this means more people's lives would be in danger. Do you want to play a part in the murder of millions? Climate change must be addressed. We must find a way to stop us from destroying our planet. It deserves a life just as the people on our coasts do. Taking a closer look on the economic impact climate change has on society, from the graph shown on screen now, we can see there will be a drastic change in GDP in some areas, if not all areas, in some form or fashion. This is more potent in the areas where a changing climate would harm the economy. In this short video clip, you can see a fictional projection of what a world would be like in the future if climate change were to persist. In the movie Geostorm, there are satellites that now control the weather because it has now become too severe. If we continue to ruin our planet, could this possibly be our future? Within this movie trailer, you can see the advancement in technology, but you can also notice there are what seem to be some areas which are still in poverty. Perhaps this is because some areas became more impoverished as a result of climate change, while some areas appear to be more wealthy. In this movie, once the satellites were destroyed, you can see that the world is put at risk of being ended by enhanced storms. You witness lightning storms and tornadoes, then huge waves that are destroying a city. While this is a disaster movie, this is a good example of what could happen to our own planet.
What a wonderful world.
In conclusion, we should respect our planet, keep our beaches clean. If we continue to ignore the issue, we may face a reality that future generations may be crippled. They may not be able to enjoy simple activities we know and love, such as swimming outside or flying kites, just because the weather is too severe.